Simple answer for me is networking. I mean, I have a number of people, and this is a goal whenever we work with a client. What we'd like them to accomplish over time is to build a group of probably anywhere from 20 to maybe as many as 50 people in their network that I create with people a trust-based, mutually beneficial relationship, which means if you and I have that relationship, you can call me and...
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host Rexhen, and today's guest is Vern Schellinger, a master networker, career coach, and passionate advocate for transforming networking from something awkward and accidental into intentional art that fuels both career growth and business success. As president and CEO of Contact Counts, Vern teaches the 8 proven competencies that help professionals move beyond surface-level connections and build authentic, trust-based relationships. His mission is simple but powerful: to help people ease their fears around networking, develop confidence, and use relationships as key driver for opportunity. And it's a pleasure for me to have him on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Vern.
Thank you, Rexhen. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming, Vern. I wanted to learn more about your coaching business. So at the beginning of it, first of all, what inspired you to become a career coach and then start this as a business?
Well, what inspired me to become a career coach is after 25 years working with one company, I decided to leave and I went into the job search process. And I worked with an outplacement company in Boston, and I was so impressed with the work that they did and the level of the customer service that they gave. I said to myself, I could see this being my dream job someday. And lo and behold, 4 or 5 years later, and using some of the skills that we actually teach at Contacts Count, I landed that dream job. I didn't know at the time I was using some skills from Contacts Count, but I landed the dream job and I was in charge of the entire Metro DC area operation as a vice president for a company called Harrison, who basically a global company. People are familiar with reductions in forces and so forth and so on. And companies lay off 500 people, 1,000 people. And so Harrison provided career transition services to everybody from administrative assistants to CEOs. And so in that 5 years, I really learned how to network. We were teaching people how to network and how important it was. And when I left that job, I felt that I knew everything there was to know about networking. And then I was introduced to an executive coach, to Lynn Wayman and Ann Baber, 2 sisters who wrote a book called Make Your Contacts Count. This was in 2006. I read the book and I was completely blown away. I said, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It's better than Harrison's approach to networking. And I got in touch with them and they said, we're starting to grow the business. We're looking to certify coaches and trainers. And I raised my hand. I said, I've got a full-time job, but if you're willing to let me be part of this, I really do want to be part of it. And that book, Make Your Contacts Count, a year or 2 ago, was cited by the Wall Street Journal as one of the top 5 books that anyone should read related to managing their career. So I started out kind of as a career coach, but as I worked more and more with Contacts Count, and I still do career coaching, but my focus is really on teaching people exactly what you said in the introduction, how to make networking. We call it making networking an art, not an accident.
Yeah. And it's been right now 4 years with Contact Counts. And so when working with your clients and going through the coaching journey with them, what about it would you say you find most rewarding?
What I find most rewarding is their results, their transformation. I literally just got an email yesterday or the day before from a client I'm working with. He's the CEO of, everybody's familiar with continuing education units. He's the CEO of that organization. And he was promoted by his board, and the board said, you really need to improve your networking skills. So he got in touch with me, and I started to coach him. And I knew he just got promoted to CEO. I said to him, I said, are you going to find some time to do this? He said, yes, I will. And it's been a real struggle for him to find time. But in the email he sent me yesterday, he said, I finally found some time to focus and use the introductory skills that you've taught me at the ASAE conference. I have to let you know it was the best networking conference I've ever attended in my life. If this one thing that you taught me has this much power, he says, I can't wait to see the rest of the program and the rest of the skills and behaviors I'm going to learn. That puts me on, cloud nine. That just, helping someone discover how powerful networking can be and what it can mean to their career, to their learning, to their solving problems. There's so many outcomes that are positive when you build a really strong network of people.
How would you describe the ideal client profile for you? Is there a certain industry of a certain demographic?
Yeah, this is the $64,000 question, and everybody wants me to ask, who's your ideal client? And I have a really difficult time with this because in the time, again, as I said, I started with Contacts Count kind of in 2006. When the two sisters decided to retire, I bought the business in 2021. And over that span of time, I've worked with everybody from undergrads to MBA students to CEOs. We've worked in every industry you can imagine, the legal field, accounting, finance, biotech, big pharma, Georgetown Law School, the CIA. I mean, to me, it's such a fundamental skill for people to learn. And if you pin me down, who needs it the most? The people that need it the most, unfortunately, are people who are looking for a job. But people who are looking for a job are not very much of a, possibility in the sense that they don't have the money to spend on it. I do a lot of pro bono work in that area to try to help people when they're in the job search process. But the ideal client is probably a mid to senior level professional who's looking to advance their careers or is looking to change the direction that they're going in terms of their careers, or potentially a small business owner who looking to, how do I grow my business? And one of the best ways to grow any business is through referrals. So how do you build, as many trust-based, mutually beneficial relationships as possible? People who trust you, know you, trust you, and are going to, as soon as someone says, well, I need this type of service, they're going to refer you to that business owner.
And how is the engagement like for them working with you? Is there a certain program of a certain length? How would you describe the engagement they have with you?
Well, the engagement, it's a spectrum. The easiest way to engage with Contacts Count is we do have an online program. And so that really covers in depth the first 4 competencies. So that's, self-paced like any online learning program. That online learning program is also part of a much more in-depth program, which is a group coaching program. So there's a cohort coaching program, which is a 10-week program. So 4 of those weeks, they're going through the online program, and the other weeks, we're talking about the other competencies within Contacts Count. And then there are individual coaching programs. So the CEO I mentioned before from the company that does continuing education units, he's signed up for a 3-month coaching program. So there's those types of programs. And then, to your point earlier, are programs we do with teams or organizations. A team or an organization recognizes they need particular help in this area. And again, one of the things that I really pride myself on in Contacts Count, really customizing and really understanding either the individuals or the company's approach or what they're trying to accomplish, and really try to customize the program to meet their needs.
And right now, this is a question that other coaches are going to find interesting, is marketing-wise, what is working for you right now?
Well, a simple answer for me is networking. I mean, I have a number of people, and this is a goal whenever we work with a client, what we'd like them to accomplish over time is to build a group of probably anywhere from 20 to maybe as many as 50 people in their network that I create with people a trust-based, mutually beneficial relationship, which means if you and I have that relationship, you can call me and say, Vern, I've got a question. I need help. Do you know someone who can help me with this? Whatever you need, if I can fulfill that need, I will do it, unconsciously. I'm here to help you. Conversely, if I called you, you're going to help me in any way you can. And when you have those kind of relationships, those are the relationships that really make a dramatic impact on both your professional and personal life.
Mhm.
So
Right now, thinking about the future of the business as well for your coaching business, looking into the next 1 to 3 years, do you have any specific business goals you're working towards?
well, one, I have specific revenue goals that I'd like to achieve, as most businesses do. But I would say the other, so I have three goals. Revenue would be one. The second would be, I believe there's opportunities for us to create additional products beyond what we're doing. And that's doing a lot of research and thinking in those areas. What else can we do? What else can we provide that would be of value to clients? And then the third area is actually connecting with the younger generation. I have a grandson who's now going to be a senior at Ohio State University. I've worked with him, and he's been the exception to the rule. I'm so proud of him. He really is kind of naturally good at networking, but a lot of the younger generation struggles with it. They have their own ways of communicating, and Lord knows the communication channels, multiplied over the years. But I really do believe that they could, the younger generation could benefit from contacts count. But I need to, and I'm trying to do some research with them right now. I'm finding out what would work for them. So what we do now maybe doesn't work for them. So what do we need to do to change and meet their needs? To give you an example, I did a program with the Georgetown law students about a year ago. And of the eight competencies that you mentioned earlier, we've created an online assessment. So I can send you a link. In 20 minutes, you answer a bunch of questions, and it'll actually give you a score on each one of the competencies, and it'll give you an overall average score of your networking skills. So out of 5 Georgetown law students, and these are like third year, mostly second, third year law students, so they're well into their careers. Their average score was 57, which, again, this networking competency assessment is something we use with every single person we work with because we want to know, well, okay, where are you at in terms of your networking skills? And that, again, I talked about customization. Well, some people score high in a couple of the networking competencies. And if they score high, we don't need to spend any time there, right? That would be a waste of time. So we focus on where they need help. And then other people with, the really low scores, 35, 40, they need help in every area of networking. So that's been a powerful tool that we use that kind of opens people's eyes up to just how good their networking skills are or aren't.
Makes a lot of sense. And I want to switch topics too a little bit. This is a question that we will also include in our research for this year is, in terms of investments you've made as a coach, what have been some investments that you feel really good about, or investments of time or money that you either learned a lot or got a good return from? And what have been investments that you would have preferred to have avoided if there's any of those two?
Well, one of the investments that I made was the competency assessment I just mentioned. The former owners had a vendor for a long time who did a good job, but he sold the business and the new business owner was just terrible. Bad customer service. Really had to invest in finding a new vendor. And it took, as you can imagine, a lot of time and effort, but we found a vendor and we updated, revised the assessment. And this vendor has been the best vendor I've worked with in a long time. Incredible customer service, incredible responsiveness. Whatever the problem is, they seem to have a solution. So that's one big investment. The other investment that I've made is taking the time and the money involved and working with a colleague to develop this cohort coaching program, which I was able to pilot test with a wealth management firm. And the testimonials from the pilot program just told me this is a program that I can really sell to a much larger audience, a high ticket offer. It's been that's been beneficial. Investments that have not worked, I've tried working with 2 different firms on LinkedIn to, generate leads. And to me, I basically, threw money away. Just drives me up a wall. It didn't drive anybody up a wall. It just didn't work. They had an approach. They had a way to think about it and try to connect with people, but it basically was a dead end. More recently, I was involved with a marketing program, and it was focused on this cohort coaching program. And the process I went through in this marketing program was very different, very counterintuitive, but with a group that has just an unbelievable track record of creating programs that really drive revenue for people. The founder of this company started his own company doing online training, and then he started coaching people to do online training. And then he started going from online training to helping coaches get better at what they do. He's in the stratosphere now. So you want to have him as your coach, it's $100,000 a year. So now the program I went through with him was an exceptional program, 12 weeks of hard work around their particular way of approaching, how to create, implement, and make money on a high ticket offer. So I actually was using the cohort program in that scenario. And unfortunately, I didn't get anybody to sign up for the cohort program. So this takes me back to my earlier comment about networking maybe being something that everybody sees as important, but not urgent. So I've been disappointed with the outcome from that. And yet that's an area where if I had more money to invest, I would continue working with that firm because of my belief in the way that they approach everything.
LinkedIn is like, not every approach actually works the same for everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing all of these investments. So there's a lot of coaches out there that are trying to grow their coaching business. And when I say grow, they want to scale their impact. What advice would you give to other coaches who are trying to scale their impact?
Well, one suggestion I could make, which is going to be obvious, right, is to talk to other people. This is networking. Talk to as many other people as you can find and find out what worked for them. Find people that, have, so what did they do? How did they do it? You've got to keep trying and pushing forward. That would be one piece of advice.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Vern. Urgent. Just like you said, networking, it just becomes urgent when actually comes stuff. And then you need to take steps there. So thank you so much, Vern. Thanks so much for coming into our podcast today. For anyone who wants to connect with you or find you, they can go into LinkedIn and look up Vern Schellinger. They will be able to find your profile. I believe they can also go into contactscount.com.
Yep. That is the website. Yep.
Okay, cool. Cool. So we'll link that to the description as well for people to find it easily. Is there any other way people could connect with you?
No, those would be the two best. They could certainly email me, Vern at contactscount.com. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vern.
Okay. Thanks, Rexhen.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.